Hi everybody, it's me Mars. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, I'm a trans artist and activist. If you do know me, what's up? Welcome, thanks for coming. And I have a lot to say, because I'm a chatter and I want to chat. So today, I wanted to talk about how I learned to love being transgender, because I think that's one of the biggest questions that I get. It's a really long journey. I haven't always loved being transgender. In all honesty, I used to hate it. I used to hate myself. I used to think that I was disgusting and unlovable, and I've come a long way, and I have some advice that I hope will help some people. And I know, like, I would hear stuff from people being like, just love yourself. And I'd be like, screw you, dude, like, just be born in a different body. Like, you don't understand how it feels to be me. Like, you don't understand. So I have some real serious, like, a plan. I'm gonna give you some tools, some things to do every single day to start to love yourself more. Stick to the end for some, like, concrete things. This isn't gonna be some BS, like, mumbo jumbo. Just look in the mirror. I have some real resources and some help to give. Yeah, that's what this is gonna be about. All right, let's get right into it. I'm gonna be talking about my journey as a trans person, what happened for me. I'm gonna be talking about what I learned, and then I'm gonna be telling you some tips and some tricks and some tools for you to start to learn how to love yourself more and to learn to love to be transgender. I took notes. I'm being very professional. I'm the YouTuber. If you don't know me, I'm a trans artist and activist. I'm also known as the trans joy guy. Look, it's me, Mars. Hi. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. You're welcome here. If you don't know me, thank you also for coming. You're welcome here, and I appreciate you. This is not just a video for trans people. I think that some of this advice would help a lot of folks learn how to love themselves more. It's just that being trans was my experience, and I'm gonna talk mostly about my experience, but I hope that this can help some folks learn that you're not any less than because of your identity. You're actually great and valid and beautiful just the way that you are. It took me a really long time to believe that. I'm known as a trans joy guy. I have some haters, as you do, you know? But I think one of the things that's most interesting about talking about trans joy, and something that I've found really fascinating in this whole journey that I've had about posting loving myself as a trans person online, has been that the majority of my haters are actually other trans men, which I was really baffled by. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand, and I'll just be point blank honest with you why I think that that is. I think that as a trans man, it's really an interesting position to be in because we didn't get to grow up as men in society, but that doesn't mean that we are immune to the toxic masculinity that is rampant and the patriarchy. And I think these things really seep into the way that trans folks, and specifically trans men, interact with one another. And I think that a lot of what I've seen is it feels like a lot of trans men have had to literally tear parts of themselves apart and really demonize parts of themselves that are beautiful and things that they really liked about themselves so that they could fit into what they think is the right way of being a man, the model of manhood, which, as you've seen any movie or TV show, is just like a bunch of crap. It's all about taking, not having feelings, not crying, not being emotionally available, being abrasive and aggressive and angry, and none of those things are healthy for anybody. Boy, girl, non-binary, nobody. And so I think that trans men really reappropriate that, and they have a lot of rage about the fact that they had to reappropriate those things and tear parts of themselves up. And they see somebody like me that loves being trans, and I'm just me. I'm me. I'm not trying to be anything that I'm not, and that means that I'm feminine sometimes. That means I'm masculine sometimes. That means I just really don't care. And I think that it hurts them because they've had to hurt themselves so much, and it's painful to see somebody else that isn't hurting themselves, and so they want to police other trans folks. It's just the same as cis men policing each other's masculinity. And I think it's really sad, and I'm not here to blame them or talk crap or really get much into that conversation. That can be a different video. I can definitely make that. Y'all can drop in the comments if you want to see that, but I just think that that's really fascinating, and I wanted to start with that because I think it's one of the biggest things that I've noticed about being this person that talks about loving themselves for being trans. So a little bit about my story. I would go to bed every single night, and I would wake up in the morning, and I would pray, and I would wish on stars that I would just be born a boy. Please, like this, and then I hit puberty. I was like, this is not right. Like, what is going on? Like, no, this is not how things are supposed to be. And then I got bullied and beaten up a lot in school, and so I went into the closet for a really long time. I didn't come out until I was age 22, which I think is really strange for a lot of people. I think they think that I've just like always been out. And when I first came out, I actually came out as non-binary because for multiple reasons, because it was a nice stepping stone for me to explore my gender, but also because I really was grossed out, literally grossed out by the word transgender. Like I was literally grossed out by using that. I couldn't even say it out loud. I could not even say, I am a transgender man. Like I was just so disgusted. I had so much internalized transphobia. I thought that that would make me unlovable. I thought that that would mean I would never have any community or family or friends. I hated it. I didn't want to be trans. I just wanted to be a boy. And so I came out as non-binary, and things got a little better. You know, like I did find community, and I did find people that supported me, and they accepted me for who I was, and they listened to me as I dealt with all these things, and a lot of that community was online. So that's why I want to post things on the internet and be on the internet, because I'm so grateful for the community that I've gotten, and that for the help that I've gotten on the internet, literally for free, from strangers being just like nice to me. Like it was baffling. And so I came out as non-binary, and I decided to get a consult for top surgery, and it was taking like forever for me to get called back. I couldn't really handle it anymore, and I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna start testosterone. I started testosterone, and I loved it. Like, I loved it so much, you know, like, hi, this is Mars, 1 minute on T. Like, I had the whole moment. I loved every single change. It just made me so happy and euphoric, and I started to really appreciate myself. Literally my voice, like, it deepened, and I appreciated exactly who I was, but I was still identifying as non-binary. I was on the internet, as I do, before really anybody followed me or anything. A popular non-binary creator kind of called me out and was like, you can't identify as non-binary and pass. You can't be masculine and identify as non-binary. And it really, really hurt me. I was really sad that they did that. And the reality is, if I'm being honest, I probably would have come to that conclusion on my own, that non-binary isn't an identity that I currently identify with. I really wish that I would have been given the space to do that on my own time, as opposed to being forced. And I think that's all to say, let's like not do that, please. Like let's just like let people be, and like any way that you decide to identify and any way that you decide to transition is beautiful and valid. You don't have to start hormones, you don't have to get surgeries, you don't have to do anything. There's no such thing as right way to be trans. If you are identifying as a trans person, you're trans enough, and that's all. I start doing this whole I'm a boy moment. I had a really traumatic breakup. My worst fear came true. I started transitioning, and the girl that I had been with prior to transition decided that she didn't like me anymore. Didn't want to be with me anymore once I started looking differently. And that was really hard. That was like literally my worst fear. Like that was the thing that I was terrified of. If I came out, I was like, if I come out, nobody's gonna love me. I'm never gonna date. Nobody's ever gonna love me or appreciate me. And it came true, and I was brokenhearted. I was in a really tough place. I was not eating. I was not sleeping. It took me a long time to get over that breakup. That's all to say that, you know, being trans is actually really difficult. I've experienced a lot of things. You know, I've experienced assault. I've experienced harassment in the workplace. When I say all these things, like I love being trans, I'm not trying to negate the fact that being trans is really difficult. It's really hard sometimes. I'm also coming from an extreme place of privilege. Like, I'm white passing, I'm literally passing, I'm an adult, I don't have to rely on anybody else for my finances. I got out of that breakup, and I kind of ended up being a lot like the people that currently hate on me now. So I have a lot of empathy for people like that, because I thought, well, you know, she broke up with me because I am who I am, and I'm seeing her and all these other girls out there dating these boys that treat them like trash. And like, what is this? Is this concept of like nice guys finish last really true? Like, should I not be a nice guy? Should I be toxic? Should I like reappropriate this masculinity that I'm seeing on all these television shows that are what being a hot guy really is? I started to, you know, dress more masculinely and try and fit this mold and work out and go out and talk to girls and get numbers and all this stuff that made me actually like really sad, because it wasn't who I was at all. I didn't like it, and it was toxic. I was judgmental of other trans people for not fitting into a mold. that I didn't fit into, that I didn't even fit into in the first place. I was just angry that I felt like I had to do all this stuff that I didn't want to do to be liked and loved. And people actually didn't like or love me. No, people always loved me. I should take that back. But people didn't actually really like me a lot when I was doing that. And I was doing it to be liked. So it's like, it made no sense. I couldn't continue living that way. And I got into therapy. Thank God for therapy. I got into therapy. It got better, and I started to talk about my feelings, and I started to meet other trans men that just loved themselves for them and were thankful to be who they were. And people love them, and they have friends and they have community. I mean, my best friend, I met him at work, and his name's Joe, and he's just another straight trans guy, and he has a beautiful girlfriend and a beautiful relationship, and he doesn't hide his femininity at all, and people love him for it, and his girlfriend loves him, and they literally have an apartment together, and she calls his parents her mother-in-law and her father-in-law. I mean, like, it's beautiful, and it's all because he's just exactly who he is. He's not trying to be anything else. He's not trying to be more masculine or more feminine. He's just Joe. I had to meet him and other people like him, and I was like, wait, like, I could do that. Like, I could just be myself. Like, it makes me emotional to think about that I didn't, I really hid who I really was because I didn't think that I could ever be loved. And then I saw such beautiful love for Joe and his girlfriend and other people in my life, and it really inspired me. And things got better, This is kind of dorky to say, and I no judgment. I'm not here to talk. I know that it's kind of hard for folks that have had traumatic experiences with religion to be talked to about religion, so this is just my path, and I don't know if it'll help anybody else, but then I found God. I found a higher power that worked for me. I found spirituality, and I realized that I was born exactly how I was supposed to be born, and I have an important place in this world, and everything that's happened to me is for a reason, and I have a higher power, and I have a higher purpose, and that's to be of service, and to be a part of this world, and I'm just another human on this planet. I'm not any better or any worse than anybody else. I just exist, and with that comes a lot of freedom. I found God, and I really like that analogy of God didn't give us bread or wine, he gave us grapes and flour, because that's really what I feel like being trans is for me. Is I think there's a lot of problems in our society with gender roles and our ideas of gender and what gender means, and people just not really being able to get in the other person's shoes and understand what it's like. And that's something that I can do, I have the privilege to be able to understand what it's really like to see the perspectives of a woman, a man, a non-binary person. I really know because I've really been there. I really participated in the culture. I did it full force. I wore dresses, I wore makeup, full force. I used they, them pronouns, full force. Now I'm out here farting, stinky, working out. I do smell a lot worse now that I'm on testosterone. That's something they don't tell you, that you smell worse. Now I'm here, and now I recognize that my journey is beautiful, and it's exactly the journey that I was always supposed to have. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, and there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just another human being on this planet, and that's how I learned to love being transgender. Yeah. So yeah, what did I learn exactly, right? So that's my story, but you're how does this relate to me, Mars? How is this gonna help me? I just want you to know, you're enough, you're valid, you're worthy. There's no right way to be trans. There's no right way to be a human being. The way that you're being a human is the right way of being a human. That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Whatever you're doing in this moment is what you're supposed to be doing, is your purpose. It's exactly right. And even if things are hard and difficult, just because I have an experience with a higher power now, that doesn't mean that the world isn't hard. The world is really, 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 really hard. And now I just know how to better handle it. And I have guidance from something greater than me, something bigger than me, to show me that I can handle it. I don't have control of anything else, but I do have control over myself and how I interact. You also have control over yourself and how you interact, and you can do it. You can do it. Please don't give up. Please don't give up. There were so many times when I wanted to give up, when I wanted to end my life, truly. And I didn't, and I'm so thankful that I did it, because I wouldn't have had all these beautiful experiences. I wouldn't be here in this apartment that I pay for myself, with talking to you, talking to people, being able to help other people. I wouldn't have been able to do any of that if I would have given up. So please don't give up. I'm crying. I'm always crying. If you all follow me, you know I'm a big ball of tears all the time. I'm always crying. This whole concept that testosterone doesn't make you cry never happened to me. I cry more often now. But please don't give up. You're beautiful and you're valid, and I really want you to stay around. I'm gonna be tough now. Get back into my toxic masculinity. So what are some concrete things that you can do to start loving yourself for being transgender? I know this is kind of silly, but the first thing that I started doing for myself that has changed my life is every morning I wake up and I make my bed. And I think it's important for me to do that because it's a way for me to do something for myself. So I start the day off with a success, and when I go to bed at night, I know that somebody cared about me, and that's me. And I made the bed for myself, and I can do this. I can do every single day, as long as I wake up and I make my bed. The thing that I do every single morning is I pray and I meditate. If you don't believe in God or screw that, meditation is really beautiful. I love guided meditation. It really helps me just center myself. And then I journal every single morning for 10 minutes about everything. I just get really honest, let it all out. If I'm just F today, F this person, F being trans, whatever, I'll say it. I just gotta get it out. I just need to release these feelings and these thoughts, and I do that every single morning. Something that I would really suggest doing is just write down every bad thought that you have about being trans, everything, I'm never gonna be loved because I'm trans. I'm never gonna be accepted because I'm trans. My body is gross, whatever it is, just write it all down, every last one of them, every one of them. And then go out and burn it, because none of those things are true. They're old fears, and you can let go of them. You can release them by watching them literally burn away in front of you. Every single day too, I write down things that I'm grateful for. I write down, sometimes it's as simple as I'm grateful almost every single day. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for water. I'm grateful for a shower. I'm grateful for shelter. I'm grateful for my friends. Also write down affirmations I am lovable and I am valid and I do have friends and I do have support. And getting in communities where you can find support, like online support groups or Discords, or just meeting up with a couple of other trans people. Please comment in the chat your name and some info about you so other people can connect and be friends, and you two can go on this journey together. Just walking this journey, walking this path with somebody else is really helpful. Just try. Every single day is just one day that I just show up and I try. And if I don't do great, that's okay. And if I do good, then I'll keep that note. But every day is just an opportunity for me to try to be a good person and to do the right things. And that's all you can ask of yourself or anybody else. And through doing these things and being that person that you know that you already are, and through writing it down and seeing it and spending time, taking time for yourself, knowing that you have time and that time is worth a lot of value, and that time should be spent on you and bettering you, will help you grow your self-esteem and will help you realize that you are loved and valid and worthy just as you are. And if that's being transgender, then you're loved and valid and worthy as a transgender person, and you being transgender doesn't make you any less than. I think these things could work for anybody. This has been my journey. That was a lot. I feel like I chatted your ear off, but that's what I'm gonna do on this YouTube, is just be chatting. So please comment other ideas for videos. Hopefully this helps somebody. I really hope this helps somebody. If you wanna get some of my merch, which I have some stuff that talks about all of this. I have this shirt, I have this hoodie, and it says I belong, and have always belonged on the back. And then I have my trans joy is resistance are my shirts, because trans joy is resistance. That's what I have to say for today. I think that's it, right? How do you end a YouTube video? Welcome to my channel. That was the beginning. Goodbye from my channel. Thank you for coming. I will see you soon. Bye.